When we're children, we have that wonder of what we want to become when we grow up. And once we grow up, we get lost in having a job and having to make ends meet and the rat race. And so I believe that as we have these discussions of what it takes to create this new landscape of Charleston in 2020 and what it takes to bring people back to creating this new world for entrepreneurs and this place where people become enamored with our city and wanting to become connected. One of the things that we need to do is we need to have them want to understand what it means to be connected with themselves. And we need to have them see that it goes beyond just making money and it goes beyond just having to make ends meet, but it needs to have them understand that they need to know that connecting with somebody else and connecting with their business and connecting with who they are and connecting with their community has a lot to do with understanding the wonder and understanding that there's growth and development and being able to say that this isn't the end-all and the be-all, that they need to understand that they need to develop themselves further. Even when you are an attorney, even when you are a state senator, even when you are a teacher, there's still more to learn. There's still more to do. There's still more that you can be and you can become. And so one of the things that you're always doing is you're always growing. You're always developing. You're going to networking functions, not just to grow and expand your business, but to grow and expand yourself. And so I think that instead of always focusing on the educational aspect of resume writing and building for the end game of just getting a job or getting a position, we should also look at growth and development. And we should always look at becoming better because we want to grow as people. And we want to make ourselves better because you never know what there is for you. And one of the things I was talking to Ms. Gasson, and she was saying that the career that she has isn't ending in the products and services that she offers. It's because that's a means to an end of growing and developing herself.
Very good. Very good.
And that's
thank you. In a few moments, we'll get into very informal panel discussion where we engage with our audience. But before then, I want to ask a question to all of our panelists here today. How many networking events or an event where you actually support a younger professional or a younger entrepreneur that you attend at least once a month? If we have any panelist guests that attend networking events at least once a month, or you're giving something back to your community by having your presence there, abroad, out and about, around the community, would you please raise your hand? Give us one of the examples of what you attended on.
Good morning. Again, my name is Jametta Johnson. I'm representing First Federal Bank. I'm very excited to be here, and thank you, Henry, for inviting me. Some of the networking events that I am involved in, I participate in a business networking development group. We meet weekly. Every Wednesday we meet at the Low Country Food Bank, and it's different professionals across the Low Country, West Ashley area. And basically what we do is we serve to be an extension of each other's business network. So each week we'll gather, and one of us will be a presenter or a speaker, and you'll tell a little bit more about your business. And at the end of the session, we'll all exchange business cards or what have you, and then we'll network for each other throughout the week. And that's actually proved to really be helpful for me. There are different people who have connections that I don't have, and there are people that I don't know. And just by me getting to know the people in my group, they kind of helped me in that regard. And secondly, I'll comment on something that I'm doing through my church. I have a passion for young adults and really helping them, reach their potential. I know a lot of times they may find themselves in situations that they didn't necessarily choose for themselves. So every year during Christmas, what my church does is we sponsor an event called Holiday Hope. And what we do is we look for children from disadvantaged backgrounds or what have you, and we'll give them toys, basically toys or clothing or what have you that they need. And so we'll be sponsoring that again this year.
Very good. Thank you. What do you do here as far as supporting Angela? What do you do here in the community?
I am not here in Charleston. I'm in the Williamsburg County area, which is in King Street, South Carolina. And I'm from Charleston, but I work with the Department of Drug and Alcohol. And I work within my community. And we look at DUIs, and we look at underage drinking. We found out about 3 years ago that South Carolina has a horrible problem of DUIs and underage drinking. And the federal government gave South Carolina $6 million to just look at those two problems. We did a series of scans throughout the entire state, looking at 46 counties within the entire state. And we came up with 14 counties out of 46 that, folks were dying and kids were just literally, I'm not doing well, dropping out and just, doing a tremendous amount of drugs. So I do a lot of networking in the schools. A lot of schools, a lot of clubs. We go out and do environmental scans all the time just to see whether or not these clubs are over-serving their patrons, whether or not they're allowing these kids to be able to come in to their establishments. It is a horrible problem in the state of South Carolina, and we're trying to get an extension on the grant. We have about 10 more months to look at the DUI issues. That's why when you're on the interstate at night, you may see something from the Department of Transportation that says DUI crackdowns. And that's going on throughout the entire state, and that's in the entire country of the United States. But South Carolina was one that had the biggest problem with DUIs and underage drinking. We have parents that are allowing their children to have parties at the homes, and they're drinking, and they're buying cakes for their children. So this is going on. The ages can range from 12 to 17. The age is 21 for you to be able to go and legally purchase alcohol. But we have 9th graders coming straight out of 8th grade. First year 9th graders in first block, inebriated, girls, boys, leaving from the house to the bus stop, and they're already high with marijuana. So a lot of this stuff is they're obtaining a lot of this stuff right at home or with their friends. And these are young kids. I've sent a lot of children in the first 3 years of being an adolescent therapist. I sent a lot of kids just in our community to rehab for 28 to 45 days. It's heartbreaking, but there's a lot of denial going on. So a lot of my networking goes on in the schools and in the community. Williamsburg County.
Thank you very much, Angela. Let's give her a hand. Speaking of students, speaking of young people, speaking of our next generation of trailblazers, in the Charleston market, we see that most of our talent is being wasted, per se. We have a high rate of our African American men that have been incarcerated. We have a high number of our African American women that have not been fully educated, or they've had to scale back with lesser opportunities because of they became parents at an early age. We have a large volume of young people here that are receiving government assistance and things of that nature. What can we do, Deborah Jones, as a community to raise the bar, to encourage them more? Being a broker, working in real estate investments, being a professional at your trade, but having a young son, having nieces and nephews, seeing the unbalance in upbringing as it relates to young people in our community, with drinking, with parents being relaxed. What can we do as a group of professionals to become more unified in making them step up to the plate in their dress, in their attire, in their speech, in their communication, and in their goals and dreams?
You must have been knowing that I needed help with, I have two sons, 27 and 30. And those of you in here that have older children, and those of you that are children of parents, we are enablers. We don't hold our children accountable. And I know it, and I do it, and I know I need to stop. We need some tough love. We have encouraged and encouraged and encouraged. We need to cut them off. We need to make them become accountable. We need to make them become individually responsible. And that is that I have a lot of people that come into my office that want to buy houses, but of course we have credit issues. And but credit is just not about when you're ready to buy a house. It's about employment. It's about everything we do. It's about our insurance, our car insurance, about everything we do. We don't make our young people be accountable. We want to blame it on the system. I grew up in Burlington, North Carolina. I was supposed to be working in a mill. We call them cotton fields with roofs on them. I decided at a very young age I did not like going to work at 7 o'clock. Coming down Dorchester Road this morning, I didn't realize it was such a parking lot. Because I don't go to work until 9 o'clock. But we're not making our young people be accountable. Honestly, we're making excuses for them, and we need to stop. That's right. We have people that can't buy houses because they have student loans. I have 2 degrees. I had a $2,000 loan. There are scholarships, there are grants that are not being accessed because it's so easy to push that button and get a loan. I had a young lady to come through my office not too long ago. She had over $200,000 in student loans from Mill Vermont, and she didn't even have a degree. And that's not the only one. We're taking that student loan money and we're paying our bills. We're buying cars. We're buying Coach bags. We're having our nails done. We need to stop. We need to become accountable. It takes a village. It takes a village to stop some of our young people and some of our old people. It's not just young people. But we can sit back all day long and talk about how the system, and I agree, the system is not great to us. But one of my most, I've always liked this song, Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. Think about the words. We have to start looking at ourselves first. The man didn't give us bad credit. He didn't tell us not to pay our bills.
That's right.
and I think that we and I totally am for business for self, entrepreneurship, because I'm a big proponent of that, and I always encourage young people to start looking at business for self. Why are we not getting those contracts? Why are we having to be a subcontractor? Are we aligning ourselves properly to become contractors? I have a janitorial business. When the real estate market went bad a few years ago, we needed another stream of income. And we decided on a janitorial business. Years ago, I worked for a service master. I knew it was a profitable business. But I also knew I didn't want it to be a start out as a mom and pop business. I needed to earn money right away. So I bought into a franchise. But I didn't buy into one of those franchises that took 20% of my income. That took 30% of it. I researched franchises. We have to start looking at all the details. Where do we start? Where do we start? All the details, not just the small details. I bring in a lot of young people and encourage them to get into the real estate field. But I don't encourage them to be real estate agents. I encourage them to be business owners. It's a difference. It's a difference. And we have to start looking at the big picture. And that's my thing. I don't know, did I answer your question on that? I got carried away.
When you hear about, and these are our last two, when you hear about credit, what we do as African Americans, how our credit score and opportunities we can get from lenders, but we don't meet criteria, and we do things along